Hi, everyone. As Kate mentioned, I'm Jason Truman. I am the vestry liaison for stewardship. Last year, I served as the annual stewardship chair, but this year, that responsibility is going to be handed off to Nicole Ball and her merry group of volunteers. I know there are some of you here today, and you'll be hearing from a lot of them in the future here. I'm going to leave sort of the more spiritual and emotional elements of our pledge campaign and reasons to give for Nicole and a lot of the speakers that are going to come over the next couple weeks. I wanted to spend some time with you just on the practical elements of stewardship. As someone that serves on the vestry, in terms of knowing what it takes to operate this church and community the way that we all have come to know and the way we hope continues on for many years, in terms of what's actually important on that side of the house. So first of all, I want to talk a bit about just overall the church budget and how stewardship fits into that. For 2024, we're likely to have an overall budget of around $1.4 million. 60% of that amount relates to the people and staff of Christ Church. So an overwhelming majority is related to that. It's an investment in people. As you all know, we've added great members of the staff over the last few years in terms of Ryan, in terms of Tyler, in terms of Janine, and I'm sure I'm leaving others out as well. But you all know that while that's made our community greater, there's a need there on the expense side. The other thing that's going on is about 30% of our budget relates to expenses. And as you all know, around your homes, things like utilities, insurance bills, and the like have gone up over the last couple years. So if you put that $1.4 million number in context, we spent as a church about $1.25 million 2 years ago. So with respect to those additions to staff, with respect to inflation on things like utilities and expenses, we're about 1.4 for the next year here going forward. In terms of where we got to last year with the annual campaign, as a lot of you know, right, we were doing with the annual campaign. As you know, a lot of us last year were part of the capital campaign, and while that was very successful, as someone that was chairing the annual campaign, I can say it was also a bit of a distraction as people were constantly being pinged on certain asks and whatnot. And this year we're back to the annual campaign, and I think it'll allow Nicole and her volunteers to have a lot of clarity in terms of reaching out to families and expressing the importance of pledging. Last year we raised about $990,000 from parishioner contributions. That was down from about $1.1 million the prior year. I think a lot of that is due to some families that, as we all know, right, post-COVID, have either relocated to warmer climates. Friends of ours have moved away, and we lost, call it 40 families over that period. We picked up, importantly, 15 families, right? Baptism families, Sunday school families, and so we had a net loss of about 25 families. I think we're really focused this year on making sure we can hold that number constant in terms of bringing in some of the newer families, and holding constant on some of the current people that have been pledging over the last few years. And that brings me to what the goal is for 2024. And there's an ask here, and it's substantial, and I want to put some context around why that number is what it is. So for a $1.4 billion budget for the church, we bring in $150,000 from the nursery school. We draw about $125,000 on the endowment. There's a Christmas tree sale, right, that raises some money. There's some other ancillary sources of revenue. Those are the only other sources of revenue. The remaining $1.125 million, we are hoping, will be made up of parishioner contributions. That's over 80% of our budget comes from people like yourselves and people in the 8 o'clock Mass this morning that I had a chance to talk to. And that's a big number. And that 1.125 number is going to be a 15% increase over where we got to last year. I'm hoping we will make up some of that on additional families pledging, but the reality of the situation is it's going to require those that are dedicated to pledging to think about increasing their pledge 15%. I'm confident, as well as the vestry and staff, that number will get us to where we want to be in the community that we want to continue to drive. And what I'll end with is in sort of some of Kate's comments on community, right? There's three things that I think go into a community. There's people contributing their talents, the great people in the choir, and others. There's people that dedicate their time to our Sunday school and our teenagers that volunteer for that Sunday school. And importantly, it's people that donate their resources. And we don't like to talk about that a lot, but that's also really important to what we're all trying to do here. So I thank you in advance, hopefully for your support. You'll be hearing from Nicole and her merry group of volunteers in the coming weeks. And I hope you all think hard about what's being asked and the importance of it. So thank you very much.